Hi, it's Bruce again at fighterkitecentral.com, and we're talking about beads and different ways to use them in fighter kite bridles and tension lines. Uh, this is a spine. It's a bamboo spine, and it's not, obviously it's not a kite yet, but let's pretend that it is in a kite. Now I've marked right here the point where the wingtip line of the kite will intersect the spine. And generally speaking, I like to have the nose of the spine to that wingtip cross point be the portion of the spine that bends. So if I am going to put a line that will allow me to maintain a specific amount of bend, and not rely strictly on the bamboo characteristics itself for that, I need to put on a line that I can adjust the amount of tension in order to vary the bend, and once it's varied, hopefully it'll maintain itself. Now I'm using larger line here so it'll be easier for you to see, but I have just made a loop and I put it so that the bead is hanging off of the loop. Now I use a small bead. It's called a seed bead, and they come in a couple different sizes. This is the basic size that I normally use, and I usually use 15-pound fishing line, braided Dacron for my tension line. Some kite makers use a Spectra or Kevlar or other stronger lines that don't stretch at all. Now I'm going to just lark's head this loop that has the bead on it onto the spine. Now I would glue this normally, but this bead right here is going to simply act like a pulley. Now the other bead, then it uses another bead. And I put a loop on one end of the line, and I'm just going to lark's head that onto the nose portion of the spine. You can just tie it on your kite. Once the kite's made, I would just tie it on. I wouldn't worry about looping it necessarily, and then glue it. And then with this line, what you do is you thread it through the second bead twice. Now this is a method I learned about from Steve Childers, who's a really good kite maker. And so this, now we have a bead kind of hanging off the spine, and we have one attached to a little longer line. Take that line and run that through the pulley bead down here, and then we put it back into the other bead and tie it so that it's secured to that bead. And you can use any knot that'll hold well, but you just want that end of the line to be secure to allow you to adjust the tension. Now I'm sure you'll be much quicker at tying a simple knot than I am here, but when you finish with this, what you have is something that looks like this. Well, I super glued to the spine the 2 points that would typically be glued to the spine where the line's attached, in order to give you a better idea of how it actually works. In a kite, what I normally will do is bend the spine a little bit to take the tension off this, and then just slide this line up to where I want the bend to be. And once it's there, it holds. So the bend is able to be adjusted minutely for varying flying conditions. And if the line that you're using slips a little bit, just put some wax on it, beeswax or paraffin, works really well, and that will reduce the amount of slippage if you have any at all. Another way to do it is to use beads that are matte finished instead of shiny. The matte finish does seem to hold a little bit better, more securely once the tension is set. But the tension itself pretty much is what holds the line. It's a very simple method, works pretty darn well. And it works on carbon fiber spines as well as bamboo spines, obviously. And also it would work on a tension line for a buka or any other need of a tension line.